Hi everyone, a subscriber of mine recommended that I should review this video called I ate the World Economic Forum diet for 30 days. It could be interesting.
Yep, that's me. And for the next 30 days, I'm replacing all the meat in my diet with 23.9 pounds of bugs. Why? Because everywhere you look, we're being told that bugs are the future of food.
Yes, actually in Europe in kindergartens they are teaching children now that we will be eating bugs in the future. They actually bring the worms to the class and show them what they will be eating, meaning that they are being programmed to accept it as if it's normal.
An emergency situation.
And time is running out.
But we can still fix this. You can
All of my favorite people.
still fix this.
If we want to save the planet, we need to change what we put on the table.
The emission of greenhouse gas is 100-fold lower with insects than with cattle.
They're one of the most nutritionally dense foods on the entire planet. They have over double the protein versus beef, more calcium than milk, and more omegas and B12 vitamins than wild salmon.
Only 44% of a cow can be consumed. How much of a mealworm is edible?
Only 44% of a cow can be consumed? Does she mean the bones? But even if you count the bones, that doesn't add up.
All of it.
Despite billionaires and governments pouring in millions of dollars into factory farming them, there hasn't been a single clinical study on what happens when you actually eat them for a consistent period of time. So, I did one myself, and I filmed everything. And little did I know that this was going to become one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. We got the bugs. Got roasted crickets right here. We have pumpkin spice flavored roasted crickets. I'm actually kind of excited to try these ones, not gonna lie. We have culinary grade
Black ants.
mezcal worms as well. So we got the stuff they put in the tequila. Kind of smell a little bit weird. There's no nutrition facts on here.
I gotta say, to be fair, the way they are produced, because they are also heated, dried, and whatnot, is of course not the way you would find them in nature. I'm not saying that you would actually naturally want to eat bugs. People only used to do that when there was no other food left. My only point is that of course they won't be as healthy, if some could be healthy, which I'm not saying that they are, but there's some worms out there which are probably just neutral for your health, as in it's not really good or bad. You can just survive by eating that garbage. In this case, there could be some side effects just because of the way they are produced. But whatever the case, still, that's how they want you to eat them. So even if it is bad the way they produce them, seeing as that's what they want you to eat, it doesn't matter how they naturally are.
That's a little bit suspicious. I guess I gotta start somewhere. Alright. I guess we start. It kind of just tastes like nothing, honestly. They don't taste gross.
Yeah, but they are not alive anymore. It's done like this on purpose. It's for you to kind of not realize what you're eating. That's why they put these insect powders in bread also now, in case you didn't know. Don't eat bread anyway, obviously. But if you do, you may be eating insects already.
Gross, but they don't taste that gross. It kind of remind me of corn chips, honestly.
Yeah, because they are all dried out. It's cooked, dry. Whatever nutrients you would find in the insects, which is what they were talking about in the TED Talk, The Woman, for example, is not what you would find in this anyway, seeing as these are processed. It's the same with cooked meat, or cooked or dry meat, or organ supplements and whatnot. You maybe get like 20 or 30% of what used to be in there. So this is possibly even going to cause malnutrition if you do it. Who knows?
That'll make your fingers a little bit dusty. Yeah, if it was just crickets, I'd probably die, so I have to supplement it with some plants, maybe the same stuff that my rabbits eat.
By the way, it's malnutrition anyway. Obviously, what I mean is actually severe to the point where you can see it.
So egg is pretty important to me, but it's not plant-based, so I gotta get fake egg. The first thing I noticed is this meat-free diet was getting a lot more expensive than I thought.
Yes, right now those products are expensive. Later they will be cheaper, a lot cheaper than the meat.
it was initially going to be. This 500 grams of plant-based egg is like $11. Tetrasodium, pyrophosphate, salt, gellan gum, carotene, niacin, maltodextrin, transglutamine. We might not be able to understand or like pronounce some of the ingredients on here, but the people who created these products know what they're doing, and that's why they're using these complex ingredients so that they can just make sure that the alternatives that we're eating are also good for us. Plant-based Parmesan, completely cruelty-free. Oh, here we go. We got some plant-based yogurt called Yogu. This
They are producing all of these products because eventually that's what will be in the shelves, in the fridge, everywhere in the supermarket. It's just a transition that's happening right now.
bag is probably already like $150, but that's okay.
Can you make it up? Klaus Schwab there by the cashier. Man, did he put it in on purpose or what, man? That's hilarious. Did he even notice it himself, man? Probably, right? I don't know.
You know, this is heavy for me today, but I'm telling you, once I get jacked off this diet, you're gonna see me lifting like 10 milk jugs. Okay, real talk. I need to explain you a little bit more.
Wow. Broccoli and insects. Wow, yeah.
More about why the fuck I willingly ate bugs for 30 days. No, it wasn't just for views, but if you could subscribe, it would really help me pay for therapy. I've always had a weird relationship with food. Up until I was 12, my parents insisted that I live on a fully vegetarian diet, probably after binging one too many factory farming documentaries narrated by a guy with a British accent who sounds just disappointed enough to make you feel guilty.
That's what's going to happen to you if you live on nothing but leaves.
But after a diet of carbs, soy, Frankenstein recreations of hot dogs, and whatever's left fermenting on the dollar store shelves, they finally decided to let me start eating some protein. And because of that, I've always been hyper aware of the narratives around what people should be eating. So when I started noticing these memes about the World Economic Forum pushing bugs as the future of food, I thought,
The globalists, I want their throats!
but then I dug deeper. Within an hour, I found a flood of celebrity endorsements. These are exquisite. Government
Yeah. I wonder why they promote that stuff.
funded bug factories and even direct investments from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It seemed like there was some science.
That's weird. Bill and Melinda Gates? They are only trying to help humanity. Good people.
Behind these things. Yet even with millions poured into these bugs, there's almost zero research on what happens when you regularly eat them. The University of Copenhagen sponsored one clinical study in late 2022, but over a year later, there are still no conclusive results. But if half the animal kingdom already eats bugs, as do apparently 2 billion other people across the planet, how bad could it be? Bad could it be? Bad could it be?
Yeah, but they eat them in their raw state also. Again, I'm not promoting eating bugs in any way at all, and I'm not going to do that. But it is very different. Again, if you compare cooked beef, really overcooked and dry, to raw beef, there just is a very huge difference. The thing is that he already has pretty severe dark eye circles. He's already not healthy.
Thank you for enabling this initiative to make the world more sustainable.
Now, what is this? This looks like I could make cocoa with this. What is...
This is a powder derived from the mealworm, a insect protein.
I could put this in a smoothie or something?
Man, I wouldn't play you, bro.
And when trying these new bug-based foods, it's definitely no secret that they taste as good than their original counterparts.
What do you think of this? No, they don't like the smell of that.
Well, he's already doing good as far as not having children goes. He has pets, rabbits, something new, not cats and dogs, instead of children. Yeah, this is perfect. Eating insects, no children. Yeah, perfect slavery.
It's so much better for the planet. You guys gotta get with the program.
You get, I don't care who you are, where you
Ah man, this is funny. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. The full thing, really funny. It's music videos and whatever. It's made by AI. All of these songs about the WEF.
want. Don't care what you want, you will eat the bugs.
Yeah, there's lots of songs like this. You should really check it out. It's funny.
Day 5.
Are his eyes really that blue? No, right? Is that contacts or did he put an effect or something?
Whole lot of crickets in here. I gotta be honest with you guys. The thing that is killing me right now is this plant-based diet. I've been trying to have like egg-based alternatives and cheese-based alternatives. They are odd texturally, but I don't think that they're good for you. Like, let me just get one for you real quick. So this is one of the things I've been having because I'm just really used to having eggs in the morning. The ingredients are water, mung bean protein, expeller pressed canola oil, plant-based.
Oh my god, I already knew about that, but always when I hear canola oil, it's oil from the seeds of flowers. So really, when you think about the unhealthiest thing on earth, that would be it basically. As far as extracted oils from natural food goes, which is not natural for humans obviously, but think about it. It's flowers, that's bad enough, but then you have the seeds, and that's already way worse because seeds are all unhealthy, but then you have the oil pressed out from the seeds of flowers. It's so toxic and so unhealthy, it's deadly.
A smoked salmon. Carrots. Because carrots taste like salmon, I guess. Sugar, maple syrup, okay.
That's really funny. That reminds me of the milk jar video.
Sunflower oil, flaxseed oil. These things are just like, they're just predominantly like oil-based foods. But yeah, they have basically no protein in them. They have the fats. That's how they replicate, I guess, the texture of these fatty, you know, animal-based foods that I can't seem to eat anymore. I think for the next few days, I'm gonna just stick to eating the crickets. Canola is a made-up name. There is no such thing as the canola plant. It is rapeseed. It's rapeseed oil. They just thought, obviously, maybe that wasn't the most attractive name, and so they called it canola because most of it was primarily grown in Canada.
Yeah, language-wise, when you hear R, it's so harsh. And obviously, the word with R, I'm not gonna say it, sounds very harsh. On purpose, it's supposed to. That's why humans called it that. And canola sounds light. Oh, canola sounds healthy.
And ola oil, and that's essentially how the name canola oil came about. The problem is that...
Oh, I didn't even know that. Huh. Canada once again.
That in the 1930s, canola oil was used as an industrial plant. The oil was used kind of in industrial things, lubricants. Canadian scientists had just fields of these things all across the country, and they wanted to turn it into something a little bit more edible. They created this new process through expellers to remove, number one, the bitter taste to it, but also make it human digestible. And even more, our favorite buddies over at Monsanto ended up genetically modifying the rapeseed plant so that it would produce this stuff to be resistant to Roundup for weed control. So to produce the oil, the plant seeds are crushed and then heated. This exposure to high temperatures damages the heat-sensitive polyunsaturated fats, resulting in the oxidation of the oil. The oil is also subject to chemical solvents like hexane to extract.
The thing is also that this is a really hard process to do. As you can see, you need so much machinery to actually do that. Why would you go through the trouble? Nobody ever asks themselves this. They think, oh yeah, it's just so easy, right, to get oil out of super tiny seeds. Oh, but it's good for us or whatever. No, think about it, really. Because slaughtering an animal and getting the fat, which is the best for us, is super easy. But this, not only is this unnatural, it's very, very hard to do. And naturally, actually impossible. You need all of this unnatural man-made machinery to do that. Then think about it. Why would these companies go through all of the trouble to do this just to give us this oil and to put it into all of the food that we eat? Just think about it. There can only be one reason to do that. To go through all the trouble to give us oils from toxic seeds from flowers? Why go through the trouble? Come on, man.
Extract the oil from this crushing process. They did a study in Temple University where they fed mice canola oil for 5 days. They had a control group and they had the one that was fed canola oil. And the mice that were fed canola oil gained about 1/5 of their starting body weight in just 6 months. So it would be the equivalent of a 100-pound human being growing 20 pounds in just 6 months by having a majority of their calories coming from canola oil. There were also signs of cognitive impairment within those mice.
The interesting thing also is though that the canola oil isn't what our cells obviously are made out of. We cannot actually properly store it. You may gain some mass, but this is why you would have cellulite, for example. You will have these seed oils everywhere in your body. That's not really animal fat, obviously, anyway. It's not what your body is made out of. You store it in the body, because your body is confused because it's unnatural, it doesn't know what to do with it. But it's not as if you actually gain normal, healthy weight. That should be understood. So these rats may have gained weight from the oil, partly also. Who knows what else they ate. But it was just stored in the body, kind of like you store sickness. That distinction should really be made.
They were not able to have as much memory. Their problem-solving capacity was way worse than the control group.
Yeah, exactly. They were sick. They stored toxins in the body. That's what it is.
In fact, the canola oil-fed mice performed substantially worse on all tests across the board when compared to the control subjects, which, all things equal, kind of explain why for the last week I have had the most brain fog I have ever had in my entire life. It has been insufferable to do everything from writing to getting out of bed. It's wrecking me, and I got another 22 days of this left. I can't be feeling this wrecked in the first few. I think I probably should have consulted a doctor before doing this.
Man, it's crazy that he's doing this to himself just to prove a point. You can call it brave, you can also call it dumb, seeing as he's aware of what he's doing to himself. It's one thing if somebody just tries out for fun, some stupid YouTuber, and eats bugs and canola oil and whatever. They just don't know what they are doing. Yeah, that's different, but he knows it.
I flew all the way from Vancouver, 1,800 kilometers, to put this cricket patty inside of an In-N-Out burger to see if it would be an acceptable substitute. This is the world's first bug burger at In-N-Out.
Oh, fuck, so disgusting, man. Ugh.
In-N-Out. Let's see. It's not great, but it's not bad. Is this what vegans have to deal with on a regular basis?
Vegans don't even eat insects. Really, it's probably even worse, eating some Beyond Meat canola oil meat. Ugh.
Now, there was actually one hidden perk to this bug diet, and that's losing 6 pounds in 15 days.
Yeah, probably because you don't eat a lot, because you're disgusted by the food.
The question I had was...
And that's not good long term, you're gonna be super weak.
How much of that was muscle?
Quick workout snack.
From 1970, when Americans ate on average 155 pounds of red meat, to now, when that's been cut in half. What's happened over the past 50 years is we've been psyoped into believing that the food our ancestors ate that gave them the nutrients to thrive and evolve is somehow a fad, while the packaged bullshit chemical industrial waste slop, that's virtuous, right?
No sugar added, more electrolytes, and more B vitamins.
Our sour strips have 80% less sugar, and I think they taste even better. 30 less calories, 3 less grams of fat, and 8 less grams of sugar.
This plant-based meat is not only amazingly delicious, but it's also better for you and better for the planet.
We wonder why everybody has cancer, and
it reminds me of that saying, when you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything.
Sick and fat. Everybody's eating Crisco. Everybody's eating seed oils. Everybody's telling you it's a vegetable oil and it's healthy. We've normalized shit and toxins into our food system, and you can mass produce bugs like you can mass produce corn. Like, you don't notice inflation if you're eating crickets or Doritos. You notice it if you're eating eggs.
Well, egg prices continue rising, if you haven't noticed.
Egg prices are now more expensive than at any point in the last decade.
The last election was all about the price of eggs.
The government doesn't want us unhappy. They're not trying to make us sick, but they are trying to stay in power. Of course, making us feel like we have an abundant food supply is a grave...
The government, the politicians themselves, no, not really. They are not, but there's more going on.
It concerns all these people.
There's so much more to this rabbit hole, much more than I can fit into a 30-minute YouTube video, so I highly recommend picking up Matthew's book. But as it comes to me, my 30 days were finally up. And before the incredibly bad news that came after, there was one little bit of celebrating I had to do first, and no better place to do it in. All right, we did it, guys. 30 days of self-torture. We're gonna have some Wagyu here. For the first time I've never had Wagyu in my life. We're gonna eat red meat, like some real fucking human beings that are not compromised by the World Economic Forum. I'm so excited. Finally, I get to eat the real food. Let's go. Let's go. That's not gonna change the fact that I am still gonna do this, you know? Wagyu skirt steak. You're gonna do those quick. First taste of Wagyu right here.
So we need to change cows, just cows alone.
Oh, that's so juicy.
How dare you? How dare you?
We must continue to fight to achieve more sustainable.
Klaus Schwab, if you want to take away my beef, you're going to have to pry it out of my cold, dead hands.
Yeah, take away from you, but of course they themselves will eat their caviar, lobster and whatever. Wagyu.
Oh, it's so good.
I fucked up, guys. I fucked up in a big way, I think. I got back from Japan about a week ago. Right as I got back, I started to get stomach cramps and, not good digestion. And I thought, okay, it's probably from maybe something I ate in Japan. But it's been consistent now for about 2 weeks. Turns out, I guess I might have a parasite. To get that sampled shortly. It took a dark turn. I had kind of like my thoughts all wrapped up in a bubble at the end of those 30 days, and I was ready to kind of like monologue about all that stuff. All of the things that I consumed were approved by health agencies in both Canada and America. But ultimately, I ate the equivalent of a vegan diet with crickets supplementing the protein, and a lot of it wasn't even pure crickets. I had like tons of just protein powder, which actually doesn't even have the chitin fiber in it. It's been just an awful last few weeks. I'm going to be taking antibiotics soon. They'll ultimately assess.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh, that's gonna be bad. Interesting though, if you've seen my videos about parasites, bacteria and all of that, I do wonder what he actually got, if you understand the mechanism behind it. Not gonna explain it in this video, it's a long topic. I'm just wondering if he ate a lot of toxic plants, all the other toxins, or from the insects, which is why his body tried to deal with it.
What it is that I actually have. We're gonna go get a sample of my poop. That's what we're gonna do in short form. Hilariously enough, it was actually called cryptosporidium. Can you imagine my fucking luck? Cryptosporidium. I don't know why I'm surprised about that. People warned me about this in the comment section. I think I got a little bit arrogant in the beginning of it, and I thought, this will be fine, These right-wing conspiracy nuts are kind of overdoing it on the bug stuff.
You will eat the bugs. You will live in the pod. You will own nothing and be happy. They mean that.
What did I ultimately learn from this whole 30+ a bunch of bonus days experience? I think I learned 2 big lessons. They won't feed you the bugs like I ate them. They're not going to be in convenient portion packages. The way that you and I are going to be consuming crickets, God forbid, is that they're going to sneak it into absolutely everything. This stuff's going to be everywhere, and they're going to sell it as a healthy alternative to meat. What essentially happened to me is I speed ran the slow degradation of what happens when you eat foods that are not native to our bodies, that are not things that we can naturally consume. And henceforth, I got an infection in record amounts of time.
Cryptosporidium. I'm ignorant about this one. Infection causes diarrhea. Diarrhea is caused by your body, as in it's a response of your body to whatever you consumed. Sometimes called crypto. That's interesting. It is caused by a parasite found in stool. Yeah, for this you need to watch my video about parasites and how it really works. Eating food or drinking water that is contaminated with stool. Oh, because the stool is inside of the bugs, so he ate a lot of bugs along with the stool all the time. Yeah, it's little amounts, but if your body is totally not used to it, and how can it get used to it? Stool in itself is toxic for us. That's why it smells so bad. Maybe that was it? This includes swallowing water while swimming or drinking from infected blah 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 blah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let me know if you know more about this.
Our ingredient labels are chocked to the brim of stuff that we have absolutely no idea where it originates from, and we have no idea what the long-term health consequences are for it. It's easy for them to do a short-term study that says this stuff's good to consume, have it in your diet, and it's easy for them to hire a celebrity to push this stuff and put their name on it. It's easy for governments to endorse this into a food pyramid, but you cannot escape the long-term consequences of it. And I hope, as stupid and ridiculous as this video has been, I hope that there's a lesson in there. This stuff is coming. The economics of it will make sense eventually for governments to use it as a way to curb inflation. And that's essentially where this whole video culminates. I kind of went into this thing trying to be curious and, kind of like tongue-in-cheek style, one of those YouTube 30-day challenges, but I have come out completely changed by it. I used to think that all this taking care of your body and health maxing, it came from a place of ego. It came from a place of, I want to live forever. I want to impress people.
He shows these guys who are super unhealthy promote horrible stuff.
With how good I look. It's not. It took me a while to realize that sometimes taking care of your health has nothing to do with you. Taking care of your health is ensuring that you can be there selflessly for people in the future as long as humanly possible. It means that you get to spend more time with your children. You'll be able to create things, life-changing inventions. You'll be able to create art. It has so much more to do than how you feel in your stomach or in your arms or in your heart or in your brain in the present. But it doesn't matter if you are a multi-billionaire like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, or if you're a janitor. You'll realize at the end of the day, it's not more money you wish you ended up with in life, it's more time. And this food, it robs us of our time, it robs us of our health. We can't let them take that from us. If you enjoyed this video, I certainly didn't quite enjoy it making it. Please like and subscribe, and don't eat the bugs. So I think I just figured out how I got this stomach infection. Do you guys remember Lil Klaus Schwab Jr.? Turns out he's been having kids here dropping larvae in these cricket carcasses. We got 1, 2, 3. There's got to be at least 100 in here. What the fuck?
Wow, what a great conclusion at the end there. Maybe the best I've ever seen in a video. Yes, if you are healthy, then you will have more time. Time doesn't obviously exist. With your family members, children. Hopefully he will have children instead of the rabbits. He doesn't look that healthy, but all the best to this guy. Also, bodybuilders who quit the nonsense realize that you were just pushing and lifting metal for no reason, reducing your lifespan, and then when you have a child, like that Christian guy that I reviewed, all of a sudden you realize, wait, why am I doing any of this? Because usually people have children too late, then only they realize what's going on. Then you look at your child or more children, the first one will already snap you out of it, and you realize, wait, why am I reducing my lifespan to just push and pull metal for no reason? And you look at your child and you think, this is what it's about. Yeah. And he kind of understood it. I think that you need to either suffer from bad health yourself, or you need to see people around you get sick, which is what happened in my life, too much. And this is why I came to all of these conclusions, what life is really about. Naturally, that would happen anyway, but in the system, we are kind of removed from it. And then you understand that health is everything, and health is longevity. It's the same thing. Because if you die young, prematurely, then you're unhealthy. Whatever you do, whether it's a bad diet or exercising too much, it will all catch up to you, usually quicker than you think. There's just people dropping dead from heart attacks and whatnot left and right now. All the YouTubers that I used to watch, everybody's just getting sick and dying. And you just realize that that's what it's about. And they leave behind families, usually not today. You could say fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to see it. At least they don't suffer from it, only they themselves suffered. But this is really what it's about at the end of the day. You being healthy, living as long as possible. Of course, while you are happy also, euphoric ideally. Not that you should just be trying to live long, but if you live long, then you're healthy. And if you're healthy, then you feel good. You're in a good mood, of course. If you are not, then you're doing it wrong anyway. And then you're not going to live long. But if you're doing everything as it should be naturally, then you will also want to have children because you will be biochemically healthy. And then you will realize that that's what it's all about. Everything else becomes meaningless. This is something that could actually wake people up if they see this video. The guy doesn't have a lot of subscribers. The video doesn't have a lot of views, but it's a good video. He realized what's going on. At the end there, he showed that he goes to the gym now more, I guess. He didn't come to the right conclusion, but at least he understands that he should be eating meat. That's the most important part. Ideally, eat some raw meat also here and there, or only raw meat. That would be ideal. Realistically, that's not going to happen. But really a good video. A lot of people should see it, or the consequences of what can happen. Even if you don't get the so-called parasite, then you will still feel horrible. As I said, the guy already looked sick, but at the end he looked even sicker, like a proper malnourished vegan, even though he was technically eating animals. But these are animals which we are not supposed to eat unless there's famine. Thanks for watching.